Hey everyone, it's moetechreviews, and today we're going to be talking about the Razer BlackWidow V3 Mini. This is a first 65% keyboard from Razer. Now this is the layout that I typically use for my own keyboard, so I was really excited when they introduced this keyboard. I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about it and help you figure out if this is a worthy pickup for you. So let's get right into it. The Huntsman V3 Mini sports a 65% layout, so this is going to be a compact board that skips out on the number keys as well as the function keys row, while still giving you a dedicated arrow keys, which are a must for me when it comes to my personal preference in keyboards. Now this compact size is meant to give you more space on your desk and also allow you to angle your keyboard easily while using it for gaming. Now this board is unmistakably a Razer keyboard with its gamer design language, like this massive chin at the bottom with an integrated RGB Razer logo. You don't really see this chin on other 65% keyboards like the Asus ROG Falcon, for example, and I think I would have preferred it without the chin a little bit more for the additional space savings. You also get a full standard height keycaps, unlike most other compact offerings that use a lower profile. Now this can be uncomfortable for some people over long periods of usage, but if you're used to standard height keys, then this is not going to be an issue for you. Now this also means that you'll find more option for the aftermarket keycaps, which I'll touch on a little later here. Looking at the back of the keyboard here, you get a plastic back embossed with Razer branding, and you also get 4 rubber feet on each corner that do an excellent job at keeping the keyboard in one place while you game. Now you also get a kickstand if you for some reason want to go even higher with the board. So overall, I think that the keyboard looks quite good, especially if you like a little extra flair in your peripherals. Now, let's move on to the build quality. So Razer is using an aluminum top plate here that gives this keyboard a premium feel. There is no flexing on the sides and very minimal flexing in the middle of the board. So overall, this keyboard is going to feel really solid. It's also quite hefty and feels heavy for its size. The keycaps Razer are using here are double shot ABS keycaps. These feel nicely textured and don't look shiny like regular ABS keycaps, but nonetheless, this is kind of a letdown for me at this price point. I expect double-shot PBT keycaps when paying this much money for a keyboard, especially that Razer makes excellent PBT keycap options. The good news is these are really easy to switch out, and if you really did want PBT keycaps, then you can pick them up with an aftermarket set from Razer for a relatively low price. They have them in different colors, so I'll have these linked down below for you if you want to check them out. So, initial impressions of build quality are really quite good here, and I think that it's a really solid board overall. Now let's talk about the switches. Razer offers this keyboard with both green and yellow switches. The green switches are clicky and tactile, while my keyboard here has the Razer yellow mechanical switches. These are linear and silent, with extra noise dampening as well. Let's do a noise test here first so you can have an idea of how they sound for yourself before we talk a little bit more about them. Alright, so as you heard, these are actually pretty quiet for mechanical keys. So Razer does really deliver on the silent aspect here, and if you have people in the house that you don't want to wake up, or you're using this for work, then you're really going to be impressed with this. There is minimal pinging noises from the aluminum top with most keys, but I noticed a higher ping on some keys like the Enter key for example. The typing experience here is really accurate and I think it's excellent for work and productivity. And the switches are also excellent for gaming. I tested this board out in multiple games and found that the switches are really responsive with a quick actuation to pull off really fast combos. They feel faster and more satisfying to use than your standard Cherry MX switch. Now there is one negative that I've noticed here is that not all the switches seem to have the same weight and feel to them. For example, the Enter key feels a bit heavier than the other keys around it and it was throwing me off in the beginning. I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but I would expect all the keys to feel the same when typing. Now, in terms of connectivity, the Razer Huntsman V3 leads the wireless 65% pack because it offers both 2.4 GHz for gaming, as well as Bluetooth for connecting to multiple devices at the same time, as well as tablets or laptops without USB ports. Now, the 2.4 GHz connection is extremely fast with no perceptible delays to me, which is perfect for gaming. You can switch between these modes using the power switch on the top left side of the keyboard here pretty easily. So one cool feature that Razer has added to the Huntsman V3 Mini is called HyperSpeed multi-device pairing, and this is Razer's technology to connect all of your Razer peripherals through one USB dongle. So I've seen this with Logitech's productivity peripherals, but I have never seen this applied to gaming peripherals, which usually need one USB dongle per device. So this is cool if you are running low on ports on your PC, or if you're running a laptop that is limited on the number of ports that you can use. So you can just use one dongle to connect everything. So let's see how to set this up through the Razer Synapse software. You go to the HyperSpeed multi-device pairing, and then you open pairing utility. And from here, it's going to ask you to add any compatible devices. So I have my Arache V2, and I'm going to add this here and turn it on. And let's see if it actually picks it up here on the app. And cool, just like that, as you saw on the screen here, it actually was able to pair the Arache V2 as well as the keyboard. And now I'm using the Arache V2 and the keyboard through one USB dongle on my laptop. So this is pretty awesome. And I'd love to see this on more gaming peripherals moving forward because it's just so convenient to have all your peripherals connected through one USB dongle. Alright, so let's talk about battery life. So Razer advertises that this keyboard has about 200 hours of battery life, which is already below average in terms of the competition because ROG and Logitech already have keyboards that have longer battery lives than this. But nonetheless, in my testing, I did about a week of usage and about 5 hours daily on average, and the battery actually ran out in 1 week. So it lasted about 40 hours in total. That is way below the 200 hours that are advertised on the keyboard, and a real letdown for me. I'm not sure if this is attributed to having the RGB lights on. I didn't have time to test it with the RGB lights off, but nonetheless, they didn't specify this on the website. So it's a real letdown for me that the battery doesn't last the full advertised number. And that's just something to keep in mind when you're picking up this keyboard. As always, Razer has done a fantastic job here with their RGB lighting. I think that Razer's RGB lighting is the best on the gaming peripheral market, and it's no different with the Huntsman V3 Mini here. So you can actually change the lighting effects through the Synapse software as usual. So here you can change up the brightness, switch off the lighting completely, or even change the effects and select from many different effects that they have here or presets. And you can actually also customize your own lighting preset here as well. And also through the power menu in the Synapse software, you can actually choose for it to automatically dim the lighting after a certain amount of minutes, or to completely turn off after a certain amount of minutes of inactivity to save power and conserve the battery. Other than that, here you also have your gaming mode, which disables some keys that could be disruptive to your gaming session. So yeah, Razer Synapse is really easy to use here, and you can do a load of customizations with this keyboard. So all in all, in terms of recommendations, this keyboard has me torn. On one hand, I like the design and I really like the yellow switches from Razer. They are super fast and responsive and excellent for both work and play. But on the other hand, I don't like that the battery life is so short and doesn't meet Razer's marketing numbers. I also don't like the inconsistent feel of some of the switches like the Enter key. So if you already have Razer peripherals and want something to fit into your ecosystem and you don't mind charging it more often, then it's an awesome option for you. Otherwise, then there are some other options on the market that can beat the features of this one. Alright, so that was all for the Huntsman V3 Mini. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel with notifications on if you haven't yet, because that's going to be the best way to keep up with the video content as well as support the channel. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time.